Did you see the food pyramid post that states that Fruit Loops are healthier than red meat?
I think it was Lucky Charms, right?
You might be right. They're magically delicious. So we all know that we all know about the food pyramid, right? You've got things you actually shouldn't eat are on the food pyramid is what you should eat the most. And things that you should eat are at the top of the pyramid, and they're the things that you should eat the least according to the food pyramid. And the food pyramid, if you do research on this is not a conspiracy theory. I may misstate the exact way this happened, but the food pyramid, essentially, the Cliff Notes version is the food pyramid was put out by Big Food. Big Food, who wants everybody eating their sugar and their processed food because that's where they make money. They mark up your Lucky Charms. It's hard to mark up eggs. It's hard to mark up meats. It's hard to mark up milk, fresh things. The markup on processed foods, on simple carbs, refined sugars, that's where they make a lot of their money. And then that ties you in. If we can get you hooked on this junk food, we're actually going to end up getting you sick, and then we're going to just hand you right off to our sister company over here. They're going to have a pill that can help you with that blood pressure, obesity, eczema, emphysema, psoriasis, diabetes, whatever it is that you probably brought on yourself because you were shopping up the center of the grocery store instead of around the sides. It's insane, man. And to go along with that, the use of seed oils. So when's the last time you ordered food? You went to a restaurant or ordered food from like DoorDash, Sohail?
The weekend. You
probably ordered something very healthy. I always try to at least keep it somewhat between the ditches if I have to order out or go out.
Trying to remember, I had sushi a few times.
There you
I
go.
ate too much sushi. But
sushi's awesome if you can go with the sashimi route with no white rice.
Poisoning.
Yeah.
You know, I want to real quick while we're wrapping this up. We talk about I'm just frustrated with how confusing the damn food conversation is. You say white rice is bad. We've been told brown rice is great, fiber, or not great, better because of fiber and all this. Then I just saw something about how white rice is actually better. There's a reason Asian cultures have removed the hull and the bran for centuries. I hear the same thing about seed oils. There's this whole thing in the past few months, super trendy, to talk about seed oils and how evil they are and how bad they are.
Paul Saladino, man, he talks about it almost every day on his Instagram.
When I see other people criticizing those criticisms and saying there's not obviously certain saturated fats and certain fats in general are better than others, and you don't want just straight up saturated fats. But the demonization of certain seed oils that provide, that are cheap and accessible to people. That's a whole conversation about nutrition, what's healthy and what's accessible to people, and why it's shaped like that. But it's just like, where can we get some science, some real, unadulterated, unfunded by General Mills?
I think that's research you have to do yourself. I think you have to use.
We literally cannot. That's not. I think you have to
use your body as your test.
But why? I mean, why do we have to do that?
Well, so if you got irrefutable science about nutrition, right? It doesn't mean that whatever that irrefutable science about a nutrition or a diet plan or
for sure, we talk about this all the time. Yeah. Everyone's different. I'm different. You're different.
I think that
some people 5 meals a day, some people are runners. Some people.
Look, if you look back at what we ate 30 years ago and you compare it to what we ate now, and you look at what they cooked protein in 30 years ago and what they cook it in now, and then you look at our obesity rates. I mean, it's very easy. That's everybody.
Yeah, but the people who are alive now ate food 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you talking about childhood obesity rates? Because they were high 30 years ago, too.
Well, I mean, childhood obesity rates have a lot to do with the proliferation of the processed food.
The way y'all ate, and even I ate in the late 90s growing up, is so much. There's so much more information out there and accessibility to being healthier and more nutritious than in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, the data availability, that's something I think social media is awesome about. Yes.
My mom grew up here in the 70s. Like, they ate like nacho cheese from the can, and like that was all like common American. It was all processed, at least I guess what I'm saying is at least now there's a focus on food culture, eating
Trying to
cooking
eat whole foods, fresh.
and cooking your own meals,
Right.
and the virtue in that,
Yep.
versus what was super perpetuated by the food industry in the late 20th century.
Well, I mean, I think now that info is so much more readily available because of social media. That's one of the really bright spots of social media, in my opinion. You can follow somebody like Lane Norton, or you can follow someone who's a complete charlatan, like the Liver Princess, right? You can follow people.
The Food Network had a big hand in that.
In making food, in making the king of liver, who he was,
No.
what he was.
No, but
In outing him.
No, in contemporary. Sorry, not about Liver Princess, Liver King, but about making contemporary Americans more conscious about what they're eating.
I didn't
about
know
cooking.
that the Food Network.
Yeah, when the Food Network came out, people started cooking a lot more. People started thinking about what they were eating. That's the rise of food, our current day food culture, which is thriving.
Interesting. That's very interesting. If you do go out and you do want to avoid seed oils, which even if you go to a nice high-end steakhouse, a lot of times they're gonna prepare your protein, whether it's fish, a steak, chicken, whatever.
That's crazy to cook a steak in canola. Why would you not just
some sort of seed oil? You can ask them. They'll say, "Oh, it's sesame oil, grapeseed oil, whatever." You can tell them this is an order hack for y'all. Just tell them I'm allergic to oils, and I'd like you to cook my steak, chicken, salmon in butter or ghee. Please.
I need you to send me your info on these seed oils, because I've been researching
about what's
it a lot.
wrong with them.
Yep.
I will. I can.
I wanna
Max
put that up.
Lugavere is your guy who you should follow about that on
Okay.
Instagram.
I want people to be able to see this, because we give all this nutrition advice in all these podcasts, and it's like, sesame oil is amazing. I'm not going to live without sesame oil, dude. You put some drops of that on some vanilla ice cream, it's a game changer.